So we have The Light Before Our Eyes, which is quite a depthful, symbolistic, you know, philosophical, meaningful movie. And already, obviously, that's all very interesting to me. And I like movies that are visual and all those things I've just said. And I really like this movie. I know it got a couple of trashing by the critics who know nothing about good movies. Especially when they say something's really bad and it's not. They just don't understand it and make up all these stupid things about it. Anyway, enough on that. So we have this movie, and it's quite hard to understand when you first watch it, but I think it's the kind of movie that you have to watch it about 3 times to understand everything in it. And I've watched it 4 times, and I understand everything in it now. And by the third time I understood everything, but the fourth time I saw maybe a little bit something extra, but pretty much understood everything prior to that. Yeah, I think what's really interesting about a movie like this is there's a lot of stuff in it, but you've got to really pay attention. And if you don't pay attention to a movie, then you're not going to enjoy it. That's my philosophy on the whole matter. And this is a very good movie, and I really like Uma Thurman's character in it. I think she's good. I also like her counterparts with Eva. Oh, I don't know if I can pronounce it because it's sort of a girl and a boy's name. Even Rachel, or even Rachel Wood, I guess how you pronounce it. But yeah, I thought she was really good. She's very good as Uma's sort of younger sort of person, and all that. You kind of understand the dynamics between the two of them. Uma Thurman, obviously, like I say, very good. No, I have no idea who the husband is, but I liked him. He was good. Um, but general all around, I think the cast are beautiful. I think they're very good. Um, and just as a movie visually, it's very interesting. It was like at the beginning, there's all this stuff about like stuff dying and life and all these flowers like coming to life and then something like dying, and then you see like clouds up above, and then there's like a statue of like something to do with death, and there's a lot of stuff in there. I think a movie like this, I mean, it's been given disadvantage that you know, it didn't get released in the cinema at all because I think people were maybe just a bit scared of the fact that it's all meaningful, it's all philosophical, and I don't have the time, and oh, I'm not sure about it, and any film movie I always watch, and I think a movie especially like this, I think it's very interesting, and there's a lot to draw from, which I think sometimes people might get just a little bit put off. This kind of movie, it's not the kind of normal movie you'd see. It's not like a Hollywood blockbuster or something that's had like loads and loads of money and there's all these big casts and everything. But I think what's interesting about it is it's very sort of low key in that it doesn't shout out everything right in your face, like literally, blatantly, obviously, and all that. But what it does do, and which I think it does wonderfully, is that it tells you the story through visual, symbolic, sort of philosophical stuff, and you don't have to sort of, because if they added on like extra dialogue to scenes and stuff like that, that wouldn't work. But the way they've done it, it's really well done, and everything completely comes to the end, like an end, like it's like a circle, and like everything works. And I think, especially with a movie like this, where there's like a twist, and there's a twist. Um, but especially like I mean, with a movie like this, it's quite complex actually. I think people underestimate it because it's so complex, but I don't think it's so complex to the fact that it's stupid or boring. And I also think that people would see this movie as pretentious and kind of boring just from the offset, but it's not. And I like I say, I really like this movie. I think there's a lot there, and there's I just find it just the whole thing of it really interesting. The fact that the Uma Thurman character, Diane, she's sort of not really coping with the loss of her friend, and she's sort of in another world, and she thinks it's kind of like a fantasy, and it's not all real, but actually it is, and she's finding it hard to cope with the fact that it's all real, and that kind of thing. And what I find is interesting, they picked Uma Thurman for this role, and it's quite a serious role and quite a serious movie. Um, and I just find it utterly fantastic and fascinating. This character she's played in it, and the counterpart of even Rachel Wood, she's really good, and just the combination of that is really, really, really good, really well done. And I think this movie deserves more than it gets. Well, it has got rather. It I just think there's stuff going on that this really just, it's not a masterpiece, but for what it is, I think it's a pretty good movie. I think it's a fun time. I think if you like these kind of movies, artistic, symbolic, philosophical, meaningful movies, visual and stuff like that, you'll enjoy it. But I think you have to deal with the movie on its own terms. That if you don't understand it the first time, go back and watch it again, and maybe another time after that, like I did, because you'll find so much more in it, honestly. Because it, like I say, it doesn't shout out stuff, but I find it annoying when sometimes they shout stuff out because then they're trying to make it more easy for you to understand what's going on. Like if someone's shouting out, but to do it more subtly and all that kind of thing, that's exactly what I want. Now, I have no idea about, because apparently it's directed by some guy. I have no idea who he is. Sorry. And it was based on a book as well, apparently, but I have no I don't know anything about that at all. But just for me, like I'm the kind of person I'm always into these kinds of movies like Amadeus, which is very visually, a treat, and there's a lot of symbolic and philosophical, meaningful stuff going on there. And I think it's a lot more interesting where they have that opposed to something, it's like an Adam Sandler movie, for example, that doesn't have any meaning, doesn't have any depth, has nothing to say, no artistic license at all, and just completely just boring and, you know, worthless. It's just it's nothing. And you look at a movie like this, and this is what I find annoying about the critics, is that you look at a movie like this and you think, well, excuse me, but how can this movie be as bad as an Adam Sandler movie? Because that's what you're saying. And if you give something the same mark, it's based on the same level, I think. And I just think they're morons because I think critics are completely like useless. I don't think they should really be employed. I think they should just be like ship off some island and just obliterate into oblivion or something, because all they do is they're put there to never understand anything of a movie ever. Like there'll be a really good movie and they'll just go, "Oh, it's crap," "Oh, it's crap," and there'll be a bunch of them saying, "Oh, it's crap" and everything, and then you watch the movie, you're like, "What the hell are you on about?" It's just because they're all stuck up, like, yeah, I'm just, stuck up asshole. My cigarette lighter won't work. Damn. I just, just to get a life. And what I really hate about some of them is they'll try and make out that you're wrong, and they'll be really defiant that, you're completely wrong and you're an idiot, and it's just like, no. And I just don't know, maybe it's the fact that maybe something's too complex, they can't understand it, but oh well. Just go off to your island and perish. That's what I say. Um, but yeah, I think, like I say, this movie's got a lot to give. It's very, very good. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's a good, solid movie. I don't have anything really bad to say about it at all, apart from I think it's a good movie and I think it should be seen, checked out, whatever. And I'm not sure that loads and loads of people have seen it, but I think most people should see it because I think it's interesting.